Hey everyone, check out this sweet ride. Now this bike's gonna look very familiar to you, but it is not the same bike as the previous Magicycle that I reviewed. This is their new Magicycle Pro model. There's a few awesome upgrades on this bike. We're gonna go over all those upgrades today and show you guys exactly how this bike performs. But first, I already came up this hill with it and had my son film me, and you could see as I was coming up the hill, I made it almost all the way to the top without pedaling. And then at the very, very top, I had to pedal just a little bit to make it up over that. And I didn't even have a full charged battery when I did that. So we're gonna go ahead and start the test off with that here real quick. Gonna try it one-handed coming up that hill just to show you guys this different perspective of it. And then we're gonna go over some of the features that this bike has that are different from the original Magicycle bike that I reviewed. And then we're gonna check out all kind of other stuff. So let's get into it, guys. So the first thing that they upgraded this bike with right off the bat was the braking system. Now, if you guys seen my original review, I thought those brakes were gonna work good, but that was the biggest downfall of the original bike, and that was the brakes. So now they have Tektro hydraulic disc brakes on this model, which is an awesome upgrade. And even if you get their standard model now without the hydraulic disc brakes, they did upgrade those from the original ones when I originally reviewed the bike. So there is better brakes on that bike now, but these are going to be way better brakes than what's on the original Magicycle. So that's one of the first biggest improvements on this bike. So let's go ahead up here, try to go one-handed here up this hill, and hopefully you guys can see what kind of power this bike has. Let me go ahead and throw it into pedal assist 5 here. We're going to start from here. So really easily, guys, one-handed up it, no problem. Now, as you can see there, I just jerked. That is one thing that I noticed about this bike that the original one didn't have, and that is that it has cruise control. If you hold the throttle on for so many seconds, it does engage it. And to disable it, you either pull a brake lever, hit the throttle, or start pedaling, which disables the cruise. Now, two things that I dislike about the way the cruise is set up on this bike. The first being that as soon as you start pedaling, it disengages it. I feel like it should keep your setting, but then when you start pedaling, it should use that pedal assist that you're in. And then when you stop pedaling, it should revert back to whatever you had it set at. That's how some of my other bikes work, and that would have been nice to see. And another thing is I'm not sure if you can disable the cruise control on this bike, and sometimes it might catch you off guard and engage when you don't want it to, like it did back there. So you might be able to disengage it. If I figure out a way, I'll let you guys know down below in the comments or down in the description of this video, but just something to keep in mind, guys. It is going to be nice for some people that do want that cruise control feature though. So now, just like their original Cruiser Pro, this throttle also works through all the different PAS levels, and you have full throttle no matter what level you're in, which is really nice to see. I love that feature on all bikes. And this motor states, well, the website states that this motor has 96 Newton meters of torque versus the 86 Newton meters of torque from their previous original Cruiser Pro. I don't know if that's true or not. Maybe it is, maybe it's not, but to be honest, guys, it's so close that I really couldn't tell much of a difference as far as torque. It may have more torque, don't get me wrong, but unless I have the same exact size rider as me, the same weight side by side, next to each other and testing them, then I won't really know. Maybe that's a test I'll do in the future, but for now, guys, I would say it's about the same as their original Cruiser Pro. So let's check out some of the other specs on this bike that they upgraded before we get into some more of the ride test. And I gotta tell you guys, first, I mean, I said it already, but these brakes are definitely 100% improvement over the original bike. Now, before we get into this, guys, if you want to pick up one of these bikes for yourself after you finish watching this video and you feel that it's a bike that you'd be interested in purchasing, I'll leave down below an affiliate link where you guys can go directly to their website to pick one of these up or to see more details. Now, my coupon code does still work for $100 off on some of their models, but they do have a better coupon on their website, and the price is always changing. Coupons are always changing, so make sure you guys check them out. But please consider clicking through that affiliate link down below in the description so that I can make a small commission if you guys do decide that this bike is right for you and you decide to purchase one, and it helps support the channel. I appreciate it very much, guys. So let's get into some of the other differences on this bike. So first and foremost, like I said, is the Tektro hydraulic disc brakes, coming down to the 180 millimeter rotors on both the front and the rear of the bike. The next upgrade is going to be the battery. It is a 52 volt battery, 20 amp hour versus their previous 15 amp hour battery. So you get 5 extra amp hours of power. And the third main feature and main upgrade on this bike is going to be the hydraulic front suspension. On their original Cruiser Pro, they had just a spring suspension with a lockout. This one, you actually have a bunch of different clicks of adjustment here, and it's a hydraulic spring suspension in the front, so you have that adjustability there on different clicks to adjust your different compression rates, and it does seem to be a lot smoother than their original bike. Like I said, it's really powerful with the 52 volt system. It is still powered with a 22 amp controller, coming back to the 750 watt motor. And like I said, this is rated at 96 Newton meters of torque, but like I said, seems pretty similar. Now on all their new models, I believe they do put this neoprene sleeve, and that's to prevent chain slap from coming down and nicking your frame, which is nice to see. Everything else is the same, the chain, the front chain ring. So a lot of these things, I'm not gonna go over every little detail of this bike. If you guys wanna see most of the features, just go over and check out my other video. I'll put a link up in the description or at the end of this video. So I really highly recommend you watching that video, because a lot of the features on that bike are going to be exactly the same on this one, except for these awesome upgrades. Now, one thing that does not come with this bike is these redshift pedals, but I put the pedals on this bike because I have a feeling this is going to be one of my favorites now. So I like to put the pedals that I'm going to be most seen with riding on this bike. If I did a video on these, if you guys are interested in checking these out, make sure you check that out as well. Getting back to the video here, it does come with a nice set of Welgo aluminum pedals. Has 26 by 4 inch fat tires on both the front and the rear. Now this is an optional accessory that they sell. This is the front basket. You have to purchase this separately, but I really do like this basket, especially with the wood inlay. Gives it a really nice look, and have the headlight mounted here on the front, same headlight as their original Cruiser. Now this is the mid-step version. They also sell a high-step version that's actually a little bit cheaper, but they do have a $200 off coupon on their website currently as of me filming this video. So it brings the price down about 200 bucks. It has the same great color display up front here. Very intuitive. When you go into the menu system, tells you everything you need to know. No P codes or anything like that. It tells you exactly what you're adjusting, and I showed that in the original video if you guys want to check that out. Has the same Shimano 7-speed shifter leading down to the Shimano 14 to 28 freewheel in the rear, and the Shimano Altus derailleur. Really nice heavy duty rack in the rear, and I gotta look at the other bike, but I do feel like they updated this and that you can clip panniers on a little easier now. I believe the other bike that I reviewed, there was a bar in the way or something for the panniers to clip on, but it looks like they upgraded that. The bike comes with a set of front and rear fenders, and those Kenda tires do have a reflective strip around them, which is really nice for safety, to be seen a little bit better at night. Also for safety, it has a tail light on the rear that's actually a brake light when you pull the brake lever. The same heavy duty kickstand, in the same seat, which has the same seat height as the original Magicycle Cruiser that I reviewed. And I'll put those seat heights up here on the screen for the minimum and maximum seat height on this bike. Now, if you do take the reflector off, you can get it down slightly more, and that's what I'll do when I throw these measurements, just so you know the minimum possible seat height that you can get out of this bike. And I normally do ride with the redshift suspension seat post in here, but it does get it up a little bit higher, so I chose to leave the bike factory the way it came. With this seat post for this video. Now, one thing I want to mention is on this stem, when it came and I had to assemble this bike, there's not a whole lot of assembly, but this stem was backwards and upside down. So when I initially installed this, I just flipped it around, thought it was right, put the handlebars on, but this display screen would not angle towards me. It was sitting flat, and I couldn't get it to angle towards me. Then I realized that if I flipped this over and remounted the handlebars, then I was able to get the screen mounted towards me, and I like it this way a lot better. So you guys, if you purchase this bike, when you're putting it together, make sure when you put these handlebars on that this gooseneck is the correct way and not upside down. And also, another thing I'm unsure of why they did, when I was adjusting the brakes, for some reason they had washers underneath these rear brake calipers. There was 3 washers on each side. I actually took out 2 of the washers that were on each side to get that caliper to sit down further on that rotor, because it seemed like it lined up a little bit better like that. So I'm not sure if they just do that. That way you have the extra adjustability if you would need it. But like I said, I looked at it and thought the brake caliper was sitting up a little bit high on that rotor. So I took 2 of those washers out, and it seems like it's set down further on there, and now more of the brake pad is contacting the rotor. So that's another thing that you might want to look at if you're getting one of these bikes. So now overall, guys, this has been one of my favorite bikes because it is a 52 volt and has tons of power, and it sustains that power throughout most of your ride because of the higher voltage of the battery. And that's awesome that they come out with an upgrade of a 20 amp hour battery. Now you can purchase the 20 amp hour battery and use it on the original Magicycle Cruiser, and you can also use the 15 amp hour battery of the Cruiser on this model if you already have it. So that's really nice to see that they're interchangeable, and it's just been a great bike overall, the original one, and I have a feeling, well, I know for a fact that this one is going to be even better yet because of all the upgrades on this thing. That's pretty much just the general overview of the bike, most of the main features, but if you really want to see everything in detail even more than this, make sure you guys check out the original video I did on that bike, like I said. And we're going to go ahead, take this thing for a ride now. We're going to go over and do some different hills and stuff. I'm going to go see if I can find some steeper ones than I normally go up and just see how this bike performs. So like I said, guys, if you're interested in one of these, make sure you guys use the link down below, and don't forget to check out some of my other videos so you can learn more about e-bikes if that's what you're into. So on the original bike, the brakes squeaked really bad. And like I said, even if you get their standard version now, they still upgraded the brakes. They're just not hydraulic. And you can also buy a pair of hydraulic brakes for their original bike. They do offer those as well. I think they're around $200. But if you're going to buy the original bike and spend the extra $200 on the brakes, you might as well just go ahead and spend another around $300 or so to get this model, in my opinion. That way you get the bigger battery, the nicer front suspension, and just overall a better bike that's already ready to go, and you don't have to install the brakes yourself. So you can hear on this bike, the brakes are completely silent, just using the rear brakes here. Hydraulic brakes, really nice. Very different than the original bike that I reviewed. So let's take the left here. I usually go to the right and go down through the country a little bit and then go back up into town. Well, we're gonna take this road here. I think there's a dirt road up here that we're gonna jump on, and then I'm hoping to be able to find a few steeper hills so that we can try it on there. And pretty much I'm gonna try to use mostly throttle. I might pedal up some of the hills, but we're gonna see what kind of life we have in this battery when we get done with today's ride. I'm not planning on going on a super long ride today. Just want to show you guys how this thing performs. And you can see I'm hitting 28, 29 miles an hour with just throttle only. And this bike, just like the other one, is able to be unlocked to a class 3 e-bike, which is 28 miles per hour, but it comes set to the legal limit of 20 miles per hour out of the box. And make sure you guys check out your local laws. If you do unlock them, make sure it's legal in your area or you're using it off-road. Alright guys, so I've used throttle only all the way up this hill so far, and you can see it's still holding easily 20 miles per hour. Now this isn't a super steep hill, but I mean, this bike with the 52 volt system has tons of power, just like the original one. It's hard to show in a lot of these videos, but this is one of the more powerful bikes out of the bikes that I have tested. Front suspension's really nice. That suspension seat post I would definitely ride with probably on my future videos. I just wanted to leave, like I said, this one in here for now. Front suspension is really nice though, guys. Actually gonna slow down here a little bit and make it a little bit softer. So far, I went 3.2 miles on the Magicycle display and 3.38 on GPS. So pretty accurate as far as the mileage goes, and the odometer I noticed is pretty accurate as well. So really nice to see, well, the speedometer. So really nice to see that they have that dialed in to be pretty accurate. 9 miles an hour, 9 miles an hour. There's 10 and 10. So really nice that that's dialed in correctly. I hate when it's way off, or the speedometer is off and the odometer is accurate, or vice versa. It just gets a little bit frustrating, but very nice to see they're both really close. All right guys, so now I'm in a different town, and some of these hills might be a little steeper than what I normally go up. We're up here on a hill now. You can see down there where the train is, how high I'm up, but we're gonna go down to the bottom of this hill, come back up it, or I'm gonna try to find a steeper one. Either way, we're gonna see what kind of power this bike really has. All right, guys, here we go. Starting at the bottom, we're gonna just do some throttle only and see if we can make it up this hill. Now, this is pretty steep, and don't get me wrong, a lot of my other 750 watt bikes do have a lot of power, but like I said, this is one of my most powerful ones. No problem, guys, right up it. And we just came from down there. It's really hard to show you how steep or how long this hill is. But very easily, guys, throttle only. It shows it's putting out 900 watts, but I have a feeling that just like their other bike, it caps out on the display at 900 watts, but it actually produces more power than that. But I just walked up that hill very easily, no problem with just throttle only. All right, let's see if we can find a little different hill, maybe a little steeper one. I think, is this one any? This one's pretty steep here. Go down this one and come back up. I don't know if you guys can see from the angle. That's like the hardest thing to show in these videos is how steep these hills really are. But one-handed on them hydraulic brakes, but let's go back up it. I'll show you guys here how steep it is. It's pretty long as well. You see it there. So let's go. Throttle only, pretty much starting out from the bottom. And normally I would pedal to help it out right here, but it's able to do it, no problem, throttle only. Now, I wouldn't recommend doing this, guys. I would definitely pedal, but you could see there it did it and it pulled me up, no problem. Normally you don't want to do that, guys. You do want to help it out just a little bit. A little bit of pedal goes a long way and helps your motor, helps your battery, gives you a little exercise like I always say in all my videos. And if you want tons of exercise in your arms, get a heavy GoPro and hold it out one-handed like this while you're riding. Your arm will be hurting like mine is now. See you guys in a little bit. And I noticed the front brake was squeaking just a little bit after going down all these hills. Oh yeah, this might have to be my new hill test hill. This one is pretty long and steep. Actually, I should probably stop and see how steep it is with my phone app. The bike won't even stay on the hill with the kickstand. All right, guys, so I don't know if my phone app's actually accurate. It said 8 degree, but not 100% sure if that's right. There's a calibrate button on there, but I didn't purchase the app, so I'm not 100% sure on that. But you guys can see here, there's the bike parked. It was hard for me to find a spot that it would actually stay. You can see the angle on that wall, which will kind of give you an idea of how steep this hill is. And it's a really, really long hill, guys. So we're gonna go ahead down there to the bottom of this hill down there and come up it. It looks like it gets steeper down there actually at the bottom. We're gonna go all the way up to the top of this hill here and see how well that bike does. But very steep, guys, very steep. Steep, dangerous hill. All right, guys, here we go. I am gonna pedal up this one because I don't want to burn anything out, but we're gonna see how hard or how easy I work. I'm in pedal assist 1, but I am using throttle. That way I can limit how much power the bike actually gives me so that I don't burn anything out. And here comes a car, so we'll see how hard it has to work. Well, a truck. Working pretty hard. Guzzling that gas. Unlike this bike here, it probably is guzzling the wattage. Still at 83% under load. 5.7 miles into this trip, but I've been killing it on these hills, guys. I'm not even out of breath. I walked up that so far, all the way from down there. I'm not sure if you guys could tell the angle, but no problem, guys, right up it. So I let off the throttle a little bit. I'm down around 700, 800 watts now. Full throttle gets it back up to 900, but like I said, I believe it peaks at well over 900 watts. Let's go ahead and just do some throttle. And I'm not out of breath at all. My arm's getting tired of holding the GoPro, but other than that, man, it walked right up that hill with no problem at all, barely pedaling. So that was also in second gear. If I shifted the first gear, I would have even had more of a mechanical advantage and would have been even easier yet to pedal. But it was pretty easy overall, guys. I think that's enough with the hill test. So you guys get my point. It has a lot of power and runs good. But what's nice is even though this bike is fast and has a lot of power, you can also turn it down really slow in the settings for a slow start, and also just to go slow. You can adjust your pedal assist levels. If you don't want it to be real strong, you can make it really light and easy, really safe to ride. So really nice bike, guys. So Magicycle has been coming out with some other new models lately, and they're supposed to be sending me the Magicycle Ocelot. That's a true step-through bike. It's 52 volt as well, and I believe it's a long-range bike too. So if you guys are interested in seeing how that bike performs, make sure you guys stick around, subscribe, hit the notifications so you get notified and things like that. And they also have another bike which is called, I think, the Juggernaut. I don't know if I'm going to be getting that one or not, but I'm really excited to test out that Ocelot model. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments and what you guys want to see on that one. All right, guys, you can see here that I'm just in pedal assist 1, cruising at like 6 miles per hour. Really easy, really steadily with the pedal assist, but I always have the option of just hitting that throttle and taking off. So like I said, full throttle in all PAS levels. And these 4-inch fat tires are nice for gravel roads like this. All right, guys, so I just made it back home. According to the GPS, I went 10.38 miles on this trip and 10 miles exactly on the bike's display. So about 0.38 miles off every 10 miles. And it's showing I have 82% battery life left. Now I've noticed on both the walkie bike that I reviewed and also on this bike, sometimes now they're changing it to hold the battery level of when it was under load and not so much when you stop. So for example, if you're under load going up a hill, this thing was actually showing 60% battery life, and it stayed at 60 no matter if I was going, no matter if I was stopping. That's good because you won't prematurely run out of battery life. Kind of good in a way, you just got to know how to read that. So I just shut the bike off and turned it back on, and now it's showing I have 92% battery life left. So you're going to get pretty good battery out of this. I'm going to go ahead in the settings here. I'm going to show you real quick some of the things you can do. Watch my first video, you'll be able to see this a little bit better to show you all these settings. You can actually go into the advanced settings here and change the state of charge from percent to voltage. And let's back out of here. And now it's going to show you the voltage of the battery, which is 55 volts. Now that's really good. 52 volt battery fully charged is like 58.8 volts. So it's still holding 55 volts. Didn't use a lot of power at all in that 10-mile ride. Still got tons of battery power left. And I went up all those hills, a lot of them with throttle only and pedaling minimally. So it was really putting that motor under a lot of stress and the battery, but man, guys, it held up great. Still have tons of battery power left. So stick around, let me know if you guys want to see anything else on this bike, or if you guys have any comments, put it down below, see what I can do to answer those questions. Make sure you guys definitely subscribe and stick around for the Ocelot video, because I'm really excited to test that one out whenever it comes in. So thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you found this interesting, and I will definitely see you guys around on the next one. Thanks for watching.